All right, guys, big day today. I don't. There's like 10 games or something like that. A lot of games to go over. So let's jump into it right now. First game up, we got the New York Knickerbockers at the Boston Celtics. Now, New York is dealing with a little bit of injury issues. Josh Hart is questionable. OG Anunoby is questionable, and they're not playing well against the top teams. They're like 0-6 against Cleveland, Boston, and OKC this year, and it's been like no contest. They lost to Boston by 20 something points the first game of the season. They lost to Boston on Saturday, February 8th in New York, 131-104. Like, I don't know, guys. Like this year, the Knicks just aren't playing defense, or they're not playing defense well. Whatever it is, I don't know if it's Karl Anthony Towns. I don't know, guys. They do have 2 days off after this. They play Philadelphia at home on Wednesday. This is an ABC ESPN game against Boston at Boston tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So early game tomorrow because there's no NFL anymore. So NBA is taking over the Sundays game, over the Sundays, guys. So for Boston, everybody's healthy except for Queta, but he's like a backup power forward center type of guy. Boston's on a 4-game winning streak, and it looks like they've won 8 out of their last 9 games, and it looks like because before they won 8 out of the last 9 games, they were like 500 since like Friday, December 6th. So for like 2 months, Boston was kind of dicking around. Now Boston last 9 games, and they've beaten some good teams here, guys. They beat the Cavaliers. They beat New York. They won at Miami. They won at Philadelphia with a healthy Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey. Like, they're kind of saying, like, hey, okay, let's go and defend our title this year. So I can only look Boston. It's -8. I want no parts of New York right now. Boston fully healthy on a mission. They might damn well win this game by 15 to 20 points again. Maybe New York keeps it a little more competitive, but until I see the Knicks put together better performances, I can't trust them. Over-unders at 231. There's been some under money coming in, but I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Boston's kind of content with just running up the score right now. Kind of. I mean, they only scored 103 on. Well, that's at Miami, but at home, I mean, they shoot really well, guys, at home. So I can only look over 231. New York's probably going to try to shoot themselves into the game, and they're probably not going to be able to do it that well. So, I don't know, guys. It's a weird game. I'm saying all this game. Better games to look at. All right, next game we got the Dallas Mavericks at the Golden State Warriors. For Dallas, PJ Washington is questionable. He did play 37 minutes last game, and he's key, guys, because he's like really their only big guy. I mean, they signed Moses Brown, but Moses only played like 12 minutes last game. But the only thing is that they're going against the Warriors, and the Warriors play small ball. Like Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green are like the tallest guys on the court. So, I mean, Quentin Post has been playing a little bit more, Kevon Looney a little bit more too, but he's not that athletic, so it's not like, Dallas actually matches up size-wise okay here. Them not having a true center, like with Dwight Powell, Derek Lively out, and Anthony Davis out, is actually okay for them, They've covered the spread like 7 games in a row or something like that. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gotta be 7. I think 7 in a row, guys. 7 in a row. Ever since they got smoked by Cleveland, they covered 7 in a row games, I believe. And now they're on the road. They were just home for 5 in a row, but the 2 road games before that, they beat Boston at Boston, and they lost to Philadelphia by 2 points. So, this is the Andre Iguodala jersey retirement game for Golden State. It's also Jimmy Butler's first game at home as a Golden State Warrior. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on, right? Other than basketball, so to say, And And I say all this because the spread's high, guys. The spread's high. It's +8. Dallas is +8.5 even. It looks like it keeps going up. Over unders at 229, 228.5. So there's some under money coming in. I like Dallas here, guys. I like Dallas +8.5. I think it's too many points. Dallas has been playing really well without a center for a while now. Golden State, they match up well because they don't need a center against Golden State. Golden State's fully healthy except for Jonathan Kuminga. And then if you also look at who the Warriors have beaten during this stretch of the last 5 games, excuse me, guys. They beat Sacramento at Sacramento. Now that's a good game, but that was both their first game back since the All-Star break. Sacramento looked out of sync a little bit. Golden State had a big second quarter. Sacramento played well the first quarter, but they just looked a little out of sync. Sacramento did, and Golden State looked focused, ready to go. So they pulled out the big blowout win there. They beat Houston. Houston was on the second night of a back-to-back. They were on the second night of a back-to-back. They only beat them by 7. It was a closer game. It was like a 3-point game with like a minute and a half left to go or something like that. They lost to Dallas last Wednesday, February 12th. 2 Wednesdays ago, 111-107. So they just lost. So they will have that motivation for sure. But what I'm saying is this: they beat Chicago. They blew them out, and then they blew out Milwaukee without Giannis. So, I mean, in my opinion, yeah, it's still definitely light years better than what they've been doing. But I mean, before Jimmy Butler. But I just think these wins are a little bit inflated. A little bit. I don't think it's really a great measuring stick of hey, they should be able to beat Dallas by 10 points here. And Dallas is actually a really scrappy, damn good team. So I think I'm going to get there with Dallas, guys. I do like Dallas +8.5 a lot. That over-under is interesting because Dallas, even though they're playing small ball, they're not going over the total. So they only scored 111 against New Orleans. New Orleans was like the worst road defensive team in the NBA pretty much. And then Miami, they had a bunch of backups in. They got to 118. That was really good. Golden State, they only put up 111. I kind of lean over here. I kind of think Golden State lets their guard down a little bit. And I think the Mavericks score. And, 228.5. The winner just needs to get to, close to 120. So, 118, 119. And this total goes pretty much over. Dallas team total over. I like that as well, too, guys. Let's keep it moving. Next game up, we got the Los Angeles Clippers at the Indiana Pacers. And man, I want to bet the Clippers, guys. I want to bet the Clippers. And I might get there. I might get there with it. Only thing is, Norman Powell's questionable. He missed the last game. Okay? Kawhi Leonard is questionable with left foot soreness. So not his knee, but left foot soreness. So, that's the other thing. If these guys play, how effective are they going to be? This is Norman Powell's first game of basketball in 2 weeks, essentially. Kawhi Leonard, maybe it's just precautionary, just put him on there because his foot's a little sore. Maybe he's actually okay to go. I like the bench a lot better. They moved Derrick Jones Jr. to the bench. I don't know if I agree with that or not. Ben Simmons, though, Bogdanovich had a nice first game with them. They got Amir Coffey still. I like the Clippers. James Harden had a bad game last game against the Milwaukee Bucks. I expect him to play better. Hopefully Norman Powell does play. They're at Detroit, so this is the front end of a back-to-back for them. They play at Detroit on Monday for the Clippers. But, they just lost to Milwaukee. I don't know, guys. It's tough. The only thing is Indiana is fully healthy. Miles Turner is good to go, so no issues there. And Indiana at home, they've just been playing really, really well. And they just beat the Clippers, right? I just said that 119-112 a couple Thursdays ago, February 6th. So these teams just played each other. And, let's take a look at that box score really quickly. I forget the situation for the Clippers. Let's see. So they shot 33% from 3, not great. And dang, the Clippers shot 42% from 3. They just had a lot of turnovers. They had 19 turnovers to Indiana's 7. So that's where they lost the game. It was the turnovers. Because they out-rebounded them by 2 points. But 19 to 7, they had 12 more turnovers. Like, that's just too many, guys. Free throw battle, 24 to 18. They had less free throws. So, I mean, I think the Clippers can compete their asses off here, guys. I really do. Really, really do. I feel pretty strongly about it. Them on the road has not been pretty this year against, like, better competition. Like, I'm looking at their schedule right now. They haven't been a really good team on the road this year. Like, at all. I'm looking at it right now, guys. I mean, they beat Denver second game of the season, Golden State third game of the season. They beat Dallas Thursday, December 19th. I don't even know if Luka played in that game. I don't know. No, he did not play in that game. I remember that. Luka did not play in that game. They lost at Minnesota, at Denver, early January. I mean, they've only beat Portland on the road, San Antonio, Charlotte on the road, Utah on the road, but that was in overtime. So it's tough, guys. With me looking at that in that perspective now, maybe the Pacers do just outclass them here. The line is -4. I think it's a touch too high. I kind of like Clippers plus 4.5. But again, like I've been saying, guys, if you win the game, if you can pick the winners, they're going to cover the spread and win the game. Like that's just how it is. Like if you look at yesterday, Portland won 141 to 88. They won as a 5-point favorite. Utah won outright as an 8-point dog. Los Angeles won as a 6-point dog. Brooklyn won outright, 105-103 is an 11-point dog. Phoenix won, the second favorite that won, but didn't cover. But they did cover the opening line of -3.5. But still, and they really should have covered that game. It was they fouled Matas Buzelis with like 0.3 seconds on the clock, which is just, oh my gosh, guys. I was on Phoenix -4. I got a push. Luckily, I know a lot of people have 4.5, -5.5. So like they're like even more pissed than I am. But like, I don't know, guys. It's a tough game, guys. Lean the Clippers. Over under, I do lean under 230 a little bit, but I don't feel great about that. I could see it going either way. Next game up, we got the Phoenix Suns at the Toronto Raptors. It's pretty much a pick 'em, -1.5. Some books for Toronto. Total is sitting at 228. I do like the under in this game. I will start off by saying that. It's just Phoenix on the second night of back-to-backs. They're really, really bad with travel, guys. When they're at home, they're okay. When they have to travel road back-to-back, they're awful. Like, awful, guys. I think they're the worst against the spread record team, well, in the NBA in general, probably, but also second night of back-to-back with travel. I don't know if everyone's going to play. The big three, quote-unquote big three for Phoenix. My goodness, this team's so annoying. They all played 38 minutes. Bradley Beal played 38 minutes. Kevin Durant played 38 minutes. Devin Booker played 38 minutes. But I will say this. They showed up a lot of fight. They were down like 13 points to the Bulls in the second quarter, and then they stormed back and took the lead at halftime. I mean, this is the thing with the Suns, guys. They're going to play. They're gonna give a lot of effort, and I said this yesterday and on the podcast, and I'm just like, you know, they're professionals, guys. They're professionals. They still have a shot to make the play-in. You know, and I watched the game today against the Bulls. They really showed a lot of fight, guys. They still care. The locker room's not toxic. It's just they are who they are, guys. It's just that's who they are. Are they better than Toronto? Yes, they are better than Toronto. But are they going to be more hungrier than Toronto? I don't know, because Toronto's a very, very good home team. Jakob Poeltl for them is the only guy on the injury report. He's questionable. If he plays, I really like Toronto here, guys. I do. I'm probably not going to bet them just because I'll be so mad if freaking like it's just like I try not to get this way. I try not to let these teams affect me like this, but it would literally like ruin my next couple days if I bet against Phoenix and then after I bet on Phoenix so much this season, lost so much money with them, and then all of a sudden they take money from me again the opposite way. I can't do it, guys. I can't do it. That shit will drive me freaking crazy. So I'm going to stay off that side. I do lean Toronto. But the under is this, guys. Toronto plays really good defense at home, guys. Really good defense, and I think we have some good stuff in our favor too, because the last game went over against Miami, but it was really going under. It was supposed to go under. It was 107-107 at the end of regulation and went to overtime. If it didn't go into overtime, it would have stayed under. The game before that, they gave up 131 points at home to Cleveland, but that was the second night of the back-to-back, last game before the All-Star break. So if we look before those games, they held Philadelphia to 103. They held Houston to 94. I don't count Oklahoma City and Memphis, guys, just because those two teams just put up 120 points in their sleep. And same with the Knicks. The Knicks have been scoring a lot well, too. So, but I know it's hard. I don't like to dismiss things, but just like this matchup per se, they gave up. Well, they only gave up 108 to the Clippers at home. They fell asleep in a sleepy spot against Chicago. Okay, Chicago can score a lot too. I'm just saying, 228. It feels a little high, just a little high. The only reason I'm a little hesitant on this is because Phoenix falls the frick asleep on the second night of back-to-back. So Phoenix could give up 120 to Toronto, 115 to Toronto tomorrow, and then I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm probably gonna stay off that game altogether. Next game up, we got the Detroit Pistons at the Atlanta Hawks. I like this game a lot, guys. I'm pretty confident I will be on the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta is plus 3.5 home dogs here. Totals at 237. So Detroit, they're fully healthy. Everybody except obviously Jaden Ivey, who's been out for a while. But Dennis Schroeder is playing now. And who's the other guy they got on that trade? Was it just Dennis Schroeder? I think it was just him. Now they're playing really well. The Pistons are playing very well, guys. They've won 5 in a row. They've scored over 125 points in 4 out of their last 5 wins. But look at who they've played, guys. This is where. So when I'm handicapping these games, I love to look at their last 5 games, and then once I look at their last 5 games, see their current form, then I like to see the home road dichotomy, what that matchup looks like. Then the home road dichotomy of do they play a good team or do they not play a good team on the road? And that really shapes what the true line should be, in my opinion. So they beat San Antonio. That was on the second night of back-to-back for San Antonio. They just got a really good win against the Suns. And Detroit has more size than San Antonio, and they just bullied them around on the second night of back-to-back. That's what happened, guys. Chicago was a dumpster fire before and they couldn't shoot the ball well at all. So they blew out them. Okay, whatever. Chicago kind of sucks. Charlotte sucks. They beat them. They beat Philadelphia. That was an inspired effort. Okay, good for them. But then we're seeing Philadelphia sucks now too. Even with Embiid. Embiid sucks this year. He does. Paul George sucks this year. They have no depth. Philadelphia. Before that, they lost to Cleveland and they lost to this Atlanta team at home, 132-130 at the buzzer to Trae Young. So yes, there's gonna be motivation there, guys. But for Atlanta, on their side, they just lost to Orlando. First game back out of the All-Star break. All right. Before that, they lost by 1 point in overtime to New York, and they rallied to get that game. Before that, they won at Orlando. They won at home against Milwaukee, and they won at Detroit, like I mentioned. In post-trade deadline, and so this is the front end of back-to-back for both these teams. Detroit plays the Clippers on Monday, and then Atlanta plays at home against Miami on Monday. So what I'm saying is this, guys. I like Atlanta here because of what they did. I've said this on the podcast a little bit already, like other podcasts. I love the new depth for Atlanta here. Terrence Mann from the Clippers, Karis LeVert, Gorgis Niang from the Cavaliers. 3 veteran NBA players that know how to play winning NBA basketball. They both came from very good, well-coached teams, winning teams, and the Clippers and the Cavaliers. Guai or something. I don't know. I forgot how to pronounce his last name. The new power forward they have in there. He's pretty good. Dominic Barlow's okay. Okongwu's starting now. Dyson Daniels still really good. Trae Young's probable for this game. He's really good. Risa Shares coming into his own a little bit more. The bottom line is this, guys. Detroit, their last road trip before this, they got smoked. And they actually won at Atlanta 114-104. Let's take a quick look at that real quick, guys. I don't want to spend too much time on this game, but there's no. Trae Young played in that game. Oh, Jalen Johnson played in that game too. They shot awful though. They were 6 of 38 from 3-point land, and they only lost by 10. So literally, they shot the worst 3-point shooting of the year. I mean, literally 6 of 38, guys, and they only lost by 10. I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting points at home with Atlanta here. I really like that. I really like that a lot. I like the plus 3.5 that I'm getting. Probably going to bet that. Hopefully it keeps going up even more. I think the Pistons are overvalued in this spot completely. Over under, I do lean under, and I say that because there's going to be some intensity in this game, and also, well, I don't know. I lean under. I don't feel great about it, guys. I could see it going either way. I know Pistons are throwing up a lot of points. Atlanta could throw up a lot of points, but I just have a funny feeling it stays under 237, guys. All right, next game up, we got the Wizards at the Magic. I already bet this game. I bet the Magic minus 12. It'll probably keep going up just because the Wizards are going to be without a lot of guys and a lot of veterans. So they traded for Chris Middleton. He's out. They traded for Marcus Smart. He's out. Alex Sarr is questionable. Bilal Coulibaly is questionable. Malcolm Brogdon's still out. So it looks like they're going to start Jordan Poole, Bub Carrington, Keyshawn George, Richaun Holmes potentially. I mean, if Sarr and Coulibaly play, okay, like, doesn't move the needle for me at all, guys. Now, the Wizards have been playing a little better. Like, they've been covering the points. I mean, they've lost 5 in a row, but they've covered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of their last 8 games. 7 out of the last 8 games they've covered. This is the front end of a back-to-back. They play at home against Brooklyn on Monday. But plain and simple, we don't have to spend too much time on this game, guys. The Magic are fully Jalen Suggs has been out for like a month, guys. So I mean, they're fully healthy for who's been in there. Jonathan Isaac is questionable, but everybody else is good to go in this game. They lost to Memphis on Friday where they should have won. They were up at like 15 points in the second quarter or third quarter, and they let Memphis come all the way back, and they lost 105-104, lost by 1 point. And they had a chance to win it at the buzzer, and they did not get it done. So no back end, no front end, back end, whatever, back-to-back for them. They play Cleveland at home on Tuesday. Then they play Golden State at home on Thursday. Bottom line is, guys, they're going to win this game. And even these teams that with like higher point spreads, like minus 10 or higher, like if they win, they're usually going to cover the point spread at a profitable rate. Like I've looked at it, I've like seen like the trends, like double-digit home favorites, you know, or just double-digit favorites in general. Like if they're going to win the game, they're still going to cover like a profitable margin, guys. Because obviously, if they lose the game, they don't cover. So like if they win the game, I'm telling you, they got a good chance. I like Orlando to win by 20 here against the Wizards, guys. Over under is 216. I lean under. I don't think the Wizards touch 95 points. And then the Magic just can't shoot the ball, guys. Like, I mean, they may be able to get like 100 points in the paint against the Wizards, especially if Sarr's not playing. But I don't betting the Magic over the total is just a dumbass proposition. And unfortunately, I've bet them over twice in like the last 3 weeks, and I don't know what I was thinking doing that. So I'm not betting Magic games over, guys. I'm looking to bet them under, guys. All right, next game up. And before I go next game, I appreciate y'all for listening. I appreciate y'all for watching me on YouTube. I really do. I see, like, I check my podcast analytics. Like, I got people listening all over the world, in London, Australia, like China, like other places like South Africa. Like, I appreciate y'all all for listening, guys. I really, really do. Just drop a like, drop a comment, follow me at Twitter for all my official plays at Easy Money Wins, and let's keep it going, guys. All right, next game up, we got the Miami Heat at the Milwaukee Bucks. The line is -5, -4.5 to the home favorite. Yeah, it's -5 everywhere, pretty much, guys, to the Milwaukee Bucks. And then the over-under is at 220, and it is dropping. It was open at like 225.5. So for Miami, they are pretty healthy. It's just Kevin Love's out. Tyler Hero is probable. Everyone else looks good to go, guys. They just pulled off a really nice overtime win at Toronto, and they let them back in the game. I mean, they really had the game controlled the entire way, and they let them back in the game. Like I said, it was 107-107. Before that, they obviously the last game for the All-Star break, they kind of let go of the rope against Dallas. Held OKC to only 115 points, which is actually impressive. Boston, they held to 103 points. I want to bet the under 2, guys. I really do. But Milwaukee's an interesting team, guys, because it looks like this is. Oh, sorry. Also, I'm all over the place. Sorry, my fault. Front end of a back-to-back for Miami. They do play at Atlanta on Monday, like I already mentioned in the previous game. They have lost to Milwaukee 2 times this year already, so they're going to be motivated for sure. Obviously, for standings purposes, let's see the standings for Miami. I don't know where they're at in the standings here, because this time of the year, time to look at the standings. They are the 8th seed. They're 1 game ahead of Atlanta right now. So this is a big game for them, because then they play Atlanta tomorrow. So Milwaukee, everyone's probable. Everyone's good to go for them. They should be. Lillard, Taurean Prince, Giannis, probable. Gary Trent Jr., probable. Yeah, they're good to go. They're at home. I think this is tough, guys. This is tough. Because, like I said, the team that wins usually covers, even as favorites. And I feel pretty good about the Bucks winning this game. Now, again, Giannis is on a minutes restriction. I don't know if that's going to hold here. There's no back-to-back for them. So, they play Tuesday at Houston. They've won 3 in a row. They had a nice win against the Clippers the other night. They hung on against a scrappy Washington team, actually, the other day. Kyle Kuzma's return. It's just tough because Miami is kind of having a better identity of who they are post-trade deadline, and I don't know. I could see the game being really close. I could see Milwaukee winning and not covering here, winning by a small margin. I do think a game does go under. I don't feel great about it, guys. Okay, next game. This game is weird for me. San Antonio Spurs and New Orleans Pelicans. Pelicans are a home favorite. Go figure, guys. Go figure. They do play better at home. They do, but are we really trusting the Pelicans to win a game here? They've only won 13 games. They have 43 losses on the year, guys. 43 losses on the year. Spurs are 24-30. They're without Wembanyama for the rest of the season because of his blood clot in his shoulder. They got Bismack Biyombo. They got Charles Bassey, as their centers now. And Mamu Kilashvili. I can't say his last name, guys. They got De'Aaron Fox. They got Chris Paul. Those are 2 all-stars. Chris Paul's a Hall of Famer. I know he's 40 years old, but Devin Vassell, Stephon Castle, Keldon Johnson's been playing better. Jeremy Sochan, Harrison Barnes. I want to bet the Spurs here, guys. I really want to. They're off a bad loss to Detroit, where they lost by 15. These 2 teams do play each other again on Tuesday. Pelicans are healthy, very healthy, actually. Literally, Brandon Boston Jr., wasn't he the guy who bought out? No, somebody else did. He's not going to play. He's the only guy out. Everyone else is good to go. They got Zion, Trey Murphy, CJ McCollum, Kelly Olynyk, Missy. Bench is Bruce Brown, Jose Alvarado, Jordan Hawkins, 3 small guards. I don't know. I'm having a hard time, guys. Thinking the Pelicans are going to win this game. I mean, even with the Spurs without Wembanyama, I don't know, guys. I might have to bet the Spurs. And if the Spurs don't win on Sunday, then just bet them again Tuesday, get your money back. Because I don't see the Spurs losing both games in a row here. I really don't, guys. That's my take on that. Well, the over-under is at what, 240? Um, First inclination, I don't know. The Pelicans played defense last game against the Mavericks on the road. The Spurs aren't like the best shooting team. We need to see this. Well, let's see what the Pelicans at home. Do they play better defense at home? A little bit. Kind of. Not really. I don't know, guys. I kind of like the Spurs to win that game. Over under, I have no idea. Next game, we got 2 games up, and then we're done, guys. This is a good game. Memphis Grizzlies at the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland home favorite at -5. Over under is at 249. And Memphis is fully healthy here. Fully healthy. Good to go. Now, I have highlighted on this podcast that they're not the best on the road this year. I mean, and most NBA teams aren't like amazing on the road. It's only like the super elite teams that win consistently on the road. But even them, the super elite teams, they can kind of struggle on the road sometimes. This is the last game of a road trip. Then they go home for a 5-game homestand. Have they played Cleveland yet this year? No, they have not. They just had a 1-point win against Orlando, like I mentioned. They lost the last 2 games on the road. They got blown out by both the Clippers and the Pacers. They won at Phoenix. That's not saying much, honestly. They blew out Toronto. They won at Milwaukee. That was a good win. They got blown out at New York. They beat San Antonio and Minnesota on the road. Lost to Houston by 2 on the road. I'm saying all this because, they did rally against Orlando. They were not looking good. That was the second night of a back-to-back with travel, though. Now they're like day off. Now they're in Cleveland. And the other thing is Darius Garland's questionable and Jared Allen is questionable. I really don't think Jared Allen's going to play. And it's not like a huge loss for them. Maybe a little bit just because Memphis does have a lot of big guys and Jared Jackson Jr. and Zach Edey. Darius Garland, not a huge loss if he doesn't play. I'm more concerned if Donovan Mitchell doesn't play, because if Donovan Mitchell doesn't play, that's a big issue for the Cavaliers, guys. Big issue. He is the head of the snake, no doubt about it. They move as he goes. But Ty Jerome's been playing really well. Who are the other backup point guards? Sam Merrill? That's right. They traded Karis LeVert, so they don't have Karis LeVert. Okoro's still there, though. I tell you what, if Darius Garland doesn't play, I like that +5, guys. And then on top of that, I kind of like it under. I think both these teams are like the top over teams in the NBA pretty much. And I know it's scary betting against Cleveland to go under, but Memphis is okay defensively. It's just sometimes they have like really bad lapses. But I don't know. I feel like this game goes under, guys. It's 249.5. It's super high. They just had a high total against the Pacers, and that game stayed under at 127, 113, 240. So, I like Memphis +5.5. And I like under 249, guys. Last game up. This is an interesting game. So, OKC is -9.5 point favorites on the road at Minnesota. Over-unders at 229. And these two teams played right before the All-Star break. Now, Chet Holmgren didn't play, I believe. Who else didn't play in that game for them? I think a couple other guys didn't play. They lost. They lost to the Timberwolves 116-101. Oh, no, Chet played in that game. Hardenstein played in that game. Who didn't play? I thought someone didn't play. No, it looks like everybody played. So, the only thing is, like, Minnesota in this game, well, they didn't have Rudy Gobert in that game either. So, it looks like the exact same players that played the last game are going to play in this game. Man, I thought they shot the ball better from 3. Minnesota only shot 26% from 3 last game against them. OKC shot 7 of 29. They had a bad shooting night. Second night of a back-to-back for them. It was also for Minnesota, but they were at home, no travel. Let's see. Yeah, it's just Rudy Gobert who's out. Everyone else going to be able to play, and they're off a loss at Houston. And they've lost. Excuse me. They've lost 3 out of their last 4. But really, their last 3 games, they've been competitive in all of them. They also, this is weird. It's a weird spot, guys. They play at Oklahoma City on Monday. So literally tomorrow, they play again. So a home, back-to-back for both of these teams. OKC's off a huge, not a huge win, but a blowout win at Utah. And the thing is this, guys. So like I've been saying, if you think the team's going to win, they're most likely going to cover the point spread. And I know that minus 9.5 looks scary for Oklahoma City because, I mean, I really do think Oklahoma City wins this game here. I think they get their revenge. If you look, they've won by 14 or more points, 13 or more points in their last, my goodness, guys, their last 10 wins. Like, Portland held them to a 10-point win. Utah held them to a 9-point win. Now, when they played Minnesota, they only beat them by 8 at home on Tuesday, December 31st. And Minnesota was winning that game at halftime, I believe, in OKC. But, man, this team just wins by 10 points every single freaking time they win, guys. I mean, betting Oklahoma City to win by 10, that's a safe bet. I mean, this team is just looking for the jugular every single game, guys. I just, for some reason, even though Oklahoma City's going to be headhunting against them and everything, like because they lost to them last game before the All-Star break, I think the Timberwolves cover. I think plus 9.5 is too much for a really good Timberwolves team. Well, I mean, they're not like as good as they were last year, but they still have a lot of pride. They still play really, really hard. I lean plus 9.5. Don't feel great about that. I agree with the over movement a little bit. Just because OKC can score a ton and Timberwolves really, I don't know, they're kind of an over team, or it kind of feels like that. So I lean over. I do lean over. I don't feel amazing about that though, guys. Okay, that is the show. I hope you all have a very blessed Sunday. Hope you guys win your sports bets. Best of luck. Follow me at Twitter at EasyMoneyWins to see where I get with my bets for today. I'll see you on the next show, guys. Thanks.